I have something amazing to show you today. Look at this good stuff. This is cranberry sauce. And if you, like me, hated cranberry sauce when you were growing up, I'm going to show you it can be way better. This is homemade cranberry sauce, naturally sweetened. I love that it's made with whole foods. You can do it in 15 minutes or less in your Instant Pot, and it's oh so delicious. I'm answering this question today from Bridget A, who's asking for an Instant Pot recipe for cranberry sauce, and so that's what's up. Let me take a moment and welcome you all. My name is Wardee, and I'm from Traditional Cooking School by Gnaufglins. And I'm the author of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Fermenting Foods. And every Wednesday we gather here on Facebook Live, Periscope, or replays at AskWardee.tv for Ask Wardee, the weekly show where I answer your questions about traditional cooking. So welcome. If you're here with me live, please do use the like and the love buttons. Comment, share, interact. If you're on Facebook Live, Millie is right there with you answering your questions and sharing links as I mention them. Also, just to let everybody know, the transcript of everything I'm going to share is ready for you right now, tradcookschool.com/cranberry. So head on over there if you want to follow along as I'm going through today's cooking demonstration. So if you're ready, we will begin. Well, as I said, I'm answering a question today from Bridget A. Let me read you her question. She said, "Hi Wardee, I love cranberry sauce and I love using my Instant Pot. So I'm wondering if you come up with a naturally sweetened recipe for cranberry sauce in the Instant Pot. Thank you so much." Well, Bridget, yes, I have, and that is what we are going to be cooking live today on Ask Wardee. If you're listening to this on the podcast, go to tradcookschool.com/cranberry and you can switch to the video version so you can see what I'm talking about. Or you can follow along with the recipe, print it later, bookmark it for later. So let me tell you a little bit about this recipe. It's super easy and I'm thrilled to be sharing it with you. It's delicious, healthy, and fast. Here's why I love this recipe. Number one, it's all whole foods. Number two, it's sweetened with apples and honey is so much better than white sugar, and actually honey is a GAPS-allowed sweetener, so if you can have all the foods in this recipe, this would be a GAPS-allowed recipe. GAPS is a gut healing diet. Now, you could use maple syrup instead if you prefer that. You can also completely omit the honey and sweeten to taste with stevia later, so you have a lot of options with this recipe. And the third reason I love this recipe is that including prep time, coming to pressure in the Instant Pot, and the pressure cooking, this recipe takes no more than 15 minutes. That is really, really cool. And fourth, it's just super yummy. That's coming from a person who hated cranberry sauce growing up, and now I love it. And my family is loving it too. Of course, it's the season because it's Thanksgiving right now, but we've been making it and enjoying it in smoothies with yogurt to top toast. So no need to wait till Thanksgiving. Give it a try now. I think you'll really love it. Okay, so if you're ready for the recipe, I'm gonna begin. So you got your Instant Pot here. This is the 6-quart. You could easily double this recipe. You could also make it in an 8-quart, and I have an 8-quart there in the corner behind me. And we're going to put the ingredients in. So starting with 10 ounces of whole cranberries. You can use fresh or frozen. Now, if you like your cranberry sauce to have a couple less cooked cranberries, then reserve a couple tablespoons of this, maybe up to a quarter cup. I do like all the cranberries cooked, so I'm going to put them all in here. And just a few other ingredients to go. Apples that have been cored and peeled, and you need about 1 to 2 medium-sized apples. You know, it amounts to maybe a cup or a cup and a half when they're all cut up. And this is very flexible. You know, kind of use what you have. In fact, my apples are this little, so I used 4 of them. These are, amazingly enough, really fun for me to use right now because on our cross-country trip moving from Oregon to Indiana, we stopped for about a week to visit my parents in Montana, and these are from their tree. It was apple season, so they gave us quite a few of them. We packed them in the cooler and took care of them the rest of the way across on our move. And so actually this is the last one, so I'll be loath to use this, but of course I will. Okay, also, you're gonna use a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, which actually could be grapefruit juice or orange juice, so whatever citrus you have, and a 1/2 cup of honey. And again, you could completely omit the honey. You could also use maple syrup instead. And I've got both of these in this measuring cup, so let me add them here. If you guys have questions, be sure to post them in the comments. And Millie is right there to answer your questions and or give links. And again, this recipe is at tradcookschool.com/cranberry. It's the recipe and all the notes from everything I'm sharing today. Okay, so that's that. And 2 more things. So we've got a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt here. I'm seeing love on Periscope. Thank you for the hearts, everyone. As you're watching, if you think that this would be something your friends and family would enjoy, please hit the share button. You can do that on Periscope or Facebook Live. Okay, and finally, we have a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm going to add that. And I want you to take note of this jar because in a couple minutes here, I'm going to tell you more about this glass herb storage jar and something awesome with it. Okay, now it's very simple. So you see that didn't take very long at all, right? So put the lid on, make sure your seal's in good condition. Make sure you've got your condensation cup on the back and everything's working order. And it's very simple. You're gonna hit the manual button which I just did. And you want it to be on high pressure, so change it to high if it's not already in high. And you need to hit the minus button or the plus button, depending on if your Instant Pot remembered the last time or not. But anyway, mine defaults to 30 minutes, so I'm gonna hit the minus button to reduce it to 1 minute. That's really all. Okay, so I've got it on 1 minute now, and it'll come on in just a couple seconds. It'll beep 3 times and say, I'm going. There we go. Okay, so that is basically all the prep time, putting the ingredients in, and you need 1 minute pressure time. And then what you need to pay attention to is it's gonna take a couple minutes and come to pressure. Then it'll start counting down just 1 minute of pressure cook time. And then it'll beep 10 times and say, I'm done. And you just want to leave it alone for 7 minutes. The heat in there will continue to cook the cranberries and apple, and it'll release some pressure naturally. At which point, after the 7 minutes is up, and it will actually start counting up the time to 7 minutes on its warm cycle. After the 7 minutes is up, you're going to hit the cancel button. And I know I'm doing it prematurely, but I have the next stage ready to go. Okay, so we'll pretend it's come to pressure, it's had 1 minute of cook time, and it's had 7 minutes to naturally release the pressure. So I'm gonna hit the cancel button as if it was done with all that. And then it just needs a little bit more pressure release. So you'll put a folded towel over this venting knob, or not, as you prefer, and turn the knob to the venting position within sealing, and it's gonna vent a little bit more pressure that didn't release during those 7 minutes, okay? So let's pretend that's all done now. This will be a good batch for me to make up later. And here I have a batch of it that's already at that stage, okay? I've had it covered with this glass lid, which is a wonderful accessory I recommend, but not actually necessary for this recipe. I was just keeping it hot. Okay, so I wish I could show you, but the cameras aren't totally gonna allow that. Actually, tipping it does show you a bit. So you can see we've got a cooked mixture of cranberries, apples in a juice there. And we just have a little bit more to go. So all I'm gonna do is hit the saute button. This turns it into like a pot on the stove. So you've got heat coming off the bottom. And I'm going to crush the berries and apples together, and it's gonna start boiling. That's a sign that it came on, and it'll start simmering away, and I'll stir it a little bit. The point of this is just to crush the berries and apple together to make them saucy and mix together, and also some of this liquid is going to evaporate, so it'll get thicker. It's really a wonderful, easy process, and it'll just take a couple minutes here. So as it's doing that, you guys, it was easy, wasn't it? Again, tradcookschool.com/cranberry. And if you have questions, post them in the comments. Millie is there to answer, and I will go back later and answer. So as this is going, I want to tell you about that special thing with the jar that I mentioned. This jar is one of my favorite jars. Now, I hope that you can see behind me. This is well, I'll show you that in a moment. This is a glass herb storage jar. It's airtight, it's light proof. You can keep herbs potent, fresh, and colorful for 3 to 6 months or more, and I love these jars. And if you can see behind me, you will see I have all of our herbs and spices in these jars. See? Right there. I love these jars. And a couple months ago, I redid all our herb and spice storage in these jars. I'm just stirring this a bit. They're from Infinity jars, and as I said, they're light proof and airtight, and they keep your herbs and spices fresh for up to, for 3 to 6 months or even more. And the reason I'm bringing this to your attention today is not only because I scooped a teaspoon of cinnamon out here, it's because I've worked out a wonderful, amazing deal with Infinity jars, the manufacturer of these jars, for you. And it's a special that's available through the upcoming Thanksgiving and Christmas season. So basically through December, they're offering 25% off of these jars. And that is unheard of because they have never yet offered a coupon that big. So thank you, Infinity Jars. You are so, so generous. You will find a link at the notes for this episode to Infinity Jars, or you can just go to tradcookschool.com/glass jars. And what I want to point out is this is my favorite size. It's a 250 milliliter size. I have another favorite that is 150 milliliter tall, if you can see. This one is comparable to your typical spice jar size, if you like that. And what I want to mention to you is if you, like me, are ready to convert your whole cupboard over, then you in particular want to pay attention to their 10 packs, because they have 10 packs of these jars that are 33% off, and you can get an additional 25% off through the end of December. So all you have to do is go to tradcookschool.com/glass jars, and then your code is 25 off, 250FF. So Millie is going to be typing that in the comments, or you can go to tradcookschool.com/cranberry to get the information and the whole scoop. All right? Now this is bubbling away and it's getting thicker, and I'm just continuing to mash it. In just a couple minutes here, and it'll be like this. Isn't that amazing? Because once it's totally thick, I'll pour it into a jar and it'll set up even more in the refrigerator. And as I said, feel free to use this in a larger Instant Pot. You can also scale this recipe up 2 or 3 times safely, maybe even more. You can make a lot of it if you'd like. It would be really good for batch cooking, so you could freeze a bunch of it. Of course, you could make it 2 cups at a time, which is the yield of this recipe as we've made today, about 2 cups. Now I want to talk to you in case you have omitted the honey and maple syrup and you want to sweeten this with stevia and make it sugar-free. Well, all you're going to do is boil this off like I said, because the apples and the cranberries do have moisture to boil off. And then what you're going to do is take your favorite stevia. I happen to like the Sweet Leaf Stevia brand, so either the liquid or the powder, and sweeten to taste. So what I would start with, I prefer the liquid, it's less processed, so I would add like maybe a half a dropper full to this, and then stir and taste. Careful you don't burn yourself, and just scale it up till you get the taste you like. It's a very flexible recipe, and that's what makes it, well, using the honey, you've got gaps, but if you don't even want honey at all, you can just rely on the sweetener of the apples, and if you want more sweet, then you use stevia to taste. So this is, I'll show it to you now. You can see that. It's thickened up quite a bit, and of course it is boiling away, as you can hear. So I'm going to call it good. It only takes a couple minutes to evaporate some of that moisture. And then you're going to put it in this pint-sized jar and refrigerate, and you have nice, thick, beautiful, homemade, naturally sweetened cranberry sauce. It's an amazing, fun recipe. As you can see, it was very, very fast, whole foods and naturally sweetened. So enjoy it. I'm just going to close off today by saying thank you so much for being here. God bless you. It's just a privilege to get together with you every Wednesday. I hope you'll come back next Wednesday, same time, same place. So 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern for Ask Wardee. The recipe and the transcript is all ready for you at tradcookschool.com/cranberry. And if you want to take advantage of the 25% off on one jar or unlimited jar, as many jars as you want, I should say. And by the way, the coupon code has unlimited use, so you can make several purchases. You go to tradcookschool.com/glass jars. and the code is 25 off, all one word, 25OFF at checkout. Thanks everyone. God bless you. Bye-bye.